So Sony just dropped the 1F. Let's talk about it.
You say you wanna leave with me. It's not the first time. Yeah, each second an eternity. When is the right time?
Okay, so Sony apparently just dropped the Sony ZV1F recently. I'm actually in the market for a second camera, and I was supposed to be using, I was like shopping around. I just heard that suddenly they're dropping the Sony ZV1F, which is actually wicked. Now, I have some thoughts about it. So in this vlog, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be talking about the Sony ZV1F.
Left before this window's closing for us. Let's go somewhere. It is not important where we're headed. Let's go somewhere. We will find a way.
Okay, so if you are actually getting into vlogging, if you're thinking about it, I think the Sony ZV1F is actually not a bad idea. It really isn't. Like if I was trying to upgrade to another camera, I would consider it because it's really cute, it's very nice. The only thing that I am going to say a prime lens. Now, if I'm traveling, I would like to have the option of zooming in and out in order to, like, you know, like when I'm trying to frame the shot, I would like to actually have that option of zooming in and out, which the Sony 1F actually does not have. It's kind of fixed. Now, for some people, this is perfectly fine, and I think it's perfectly okay too if you really, you know, don't mind it. But there's a price difference of only $200. So if I was actually going to spend the money, I would rather just take $200 and then just go ahead and buy the Sony ZV-1, which is what I'm using right now. And as you can see, it is absolutely perfect. I bought this camera like over a year ago. It's still my most favorite camera. There's something that's really nice in the new Sony 1F is the software. I was looking at one of the YouTubers online on YouTube, and they were like actually demoing it, and I thought it was very nice. One of my main things about the Sony camera is that when I'm hitting record, and let's say if I'm out in the market, and it happened actually once, I was out in the market, and what happened is the sun was shining a little bit, and I couldn't exactly tell on my screen because the glare was there, and I couldn't tell exactly if I really pressed record or not. But for the Sony 1F, they have this new feature that when you press record, on the screen, facing you, that is, on the screen, there is a red bar all around, which is, I think, really, really nice, because that way you know for sure that you actually have pressed record. So I think that's wonderful. Now, F stands for fixed lens. So let's talk about the lens a little bit, because a lot of people who are looking at cameras, probably just like you and I, like we are fairly new to cameras. We are not actually any kind of, specialized, like we're not like photographers or anything of that sort. So photographers, videographers, people who have experience already know all these kind of things, right? But actually we don't. So let's talk about it. Now, a fixed lens basically means that you're not allowed to zoom. I mean, you can zoom, but it's more like a digital zoom. I mean, I don't know. When you have a fixed lens, what happens is the camera doesn't have a zooming capability. So that's the meaning of a fixed lens, or a prime lens in this case. So the Sony ZV-1 actually has a zoom lens. So that way, if you are trying to do any kind of vlogging where you are thinking that you should be able to, have the option of zooming a little bit. So what happens is, if you want to zoom, the ZV-1 is actually a very good option, because if you go for the 1F, it is a fixed prime lens, and so it's not exactly going to allow you to zoom. Now, that's not a big deal, but what happens is, those of you who are trying to vlog, and if you're trying to get into YouTube shorts and YouTube videos and stuff like that, you have to ask yourself, do you really want a camera where you're doing everything that is more on a fixed basis, or do you want to use a camera so that way you can actually have the option of zooming in and out? So let me end this little vlog and let you guys know that I think the Sony 1F is not really a bad deal, but if I was trying to upgrade a camera, I won't buy the Sony 1F, because you know, the idea is to actually get a camera that has more things to do rather than less things to do. So in my case, if you are a vlogger and you're trying to get into it, I think the 1F is something that you might really want to consider, because it is a very nice camera. It has all the bells and whistles, but the only difference is the zooming capacity. So if you are okay with that, I think that's perfectly all right. So good luck and thank you very much, guys. See you. Bye-bye. Peace.